Techno. Hollywood.
Interesting, eh?
If you can remember what episode this is.
21.
No, 21? 22.
No, it's 21.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, is it rolling already?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's have a coffee first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sorry. Yeah. Let's get the mic going.
The second you moved to management, you forgot how to use the mic.
It's true. Let me see. Is the levels okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
It drives me crazy when I see this mic on TV and people are singing into it like this because his pickup is here.
I know it's from the front.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I think you need to move in closer.
I think there's a famous Lenny Kravitz video where he's singing into the mic backwards.
Really?
In Are You Gonna Go My Way?
Really? In the video?
Yeah, in the video. It's a Neumann mic and it's all wrong.
It's but because it's just like he didn't know, I guess. Oops, and no one knew. So there's actually quite a story that I made it here to LA because I almost didn't. I didn't tell you the story yet. So I was supposed to leave to North America or to Vancouver for that matter, to Canada on a Friday. And we packed up all our stuff, Joplin, and I was also getting ready and stuff. And then Natalie, who works with us, says like, "Hey, you guys know, like, you have to, I'm sure you have the ETA visa, electronic travel, whatever visa for Canada." I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." And then I checked it again, and I had it, but it ran out because it's only valid for 5 years. And this is also like a thing. Like normally back in the days, the last 20 years, if you were like a German or European, you didn't need any visa as a tourist to travel to Canada. But because of the Americans did the whole ESTA thing, right? The Canadians also did the ETA thing, which
I don't know what ESTA is.
ESTA is like also like if you're like a German or European citizen, you travel to the US, you need like as a tourist, you need to have an ESTA visa. You basically they need to check all your stuff. It costs like $20-$30.
So you can't just hop on a plane and go.
You can't just hop on a plane.
Really?
And go. Yeah, you didn't know this. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this was established.
What about me going there?
Yeah, I don't think you need one. Yeah, it's really a way for the US and also now Canada to make some money from the tourists coming in.
Wow.
And also to get all the data and passports data, which they get anyways.
I better not need anything. I'm leaving in 2 days.
Exactly. That's what. So basically, so you need an ETA for Canada. And normally these things, like you apply online, you pay like $10 or I think US is $20-$30, whatever. And it comes within minutes. So on a Thursday, like, I guess, we need to fill in an ESTA. And then basically Joplin, she filled it in, boom, got the ESTA 2 minutes later. I filled out my stuff. Nothing happened. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. It's like, why? I guess it's going to come in within the hour or whatever. This is Thursday, flying Friday morning, right? And then it's like, nothing's showing up. I'm like, fuck it. I need to. Then I applied again because maybe I did something wrong. I get the confirmation email. We're going to look at it. And then it says like, and normally, I Googled it. Normally it takes minutes you get it. If you don't get it immediately, it means there's something wrong. And they have 3 days, 72 hours to let you know if what they need from you, like additional passport information, blah, blah,
3
blah.
days.
3 days. I'm like, this is not good because I'm flying tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and you can't reach anyone, obviously. And I was like, oh my God, I could have applied for the ETA visa months ago, but no one sort of told me and I forgot. So it's partly obviously my fault too. And then I checked, like the airlines don't let you get on the plane if you don't have the ETA visa. Like, there's no way. From Germany. Like they check right at the airport because I'm like, I'll do it at the airport. I just talk to someone, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, there's like no way. Like I Googled, it's like, so you don't even bother going to the airport if you don't have the ETA. And I was like, oh my God. There was like, maybe it's going to come in the morning. Like it takes whatever. Then at night, Friday night, I don't sleep really. I apply again the third time. Nothing happens. And then I'm like, okay. And then I talk to the travel agents. I'm like, hey, he's such a nice guy. Shout out to him. Like he said, like, let's meet up. Let's at 6 a.m. because the flight was at 10 a.m. To basically say like, hey, if there's no visa, I need to reschedule the flight, right?
Yeah.
And then I basically got up at 6 a.m. I didn't really sleep anyways. Checked my email. No visa. I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid. I was like, and then I basically called the travel agent. He got up too. And he's like, okay, let's reschedule. Okay, I need to then fly the next day to Vancouver, or can I fly straight to LA, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I'll check. Yeah, there were flights yesterday, but he checked again. There were almost no more flights because it's so last minute. And he's like, yeah, I found one, but it's like 2,000 euros to reschedule. I mean,
Like a reschedule fee?
Yeah, reschedule fee. I'm like, for 2,000, I can just book a new flight. You know, like he's like, yeah, true. So it's basically, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Because like I already lost $2,000 on the first trip now.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna reschedule now and not even know if I get the visa and stuff. So I was in like, had to make all these decisions without no sleep. And I was like, and then in my head I was like, okay, it's not worth it. I'm gonna miss the Canada show, and also like I guess I'm gonna not go to LA because it's not worth it to spend another $2,000 for like one show here in LA, which Joplin can technically do alone if it worse comes worse. And I was like, yeah, then I'll just stay in Berlin. So in my head, I was like already, oh damn, this was so stupid. It's all wasted. And then I'm staying in Berlin. Then I'm like about to sort of crash, and I'm super tired, obviously. I look at my email. The flight is at 9:50. At 9:20, the visa comes. This is so stupid. like I was like from the third application.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And then I tried, Joplin was already on the plane. I texted with her, and she's like, I'm like, try to tell them I'm coming. Let's stop the plane. And she's like, no, it's not going. And she talked to the person, and they're like, yeah, we know the name. Like, it's a no-show. Like, the flight is gone.
Yeah.
We gave away the seat. It was overbooked anyways. And I'm like, what? And then I talked to the travel agent, like, can you reschedule the flight now?
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, the flight is not in the system anymore. It's gone. Like you can't.
So you missed your opportunity to reschedule
even
because you just lost the money.
Exactly. And then I was like, oh my God, this is such a nightmare. And then he's like, you know what you could do? You can try to go to the airport and talk to them. I'm like, I guess, yeah. And I was like, yeah, but he's like, they don't have any obligation to rebook you because it's not their fault that I didn't have a visa.
Right.
You know? So. And I was like packed anyways. And I was like, do I go to the airport now, waste another 3 hours back with the stuff, and then get super frustrated and get a no from the airport? And I was like, what do I do? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to old school try to call United. And then I Googled a number, some weird number, customer service. It was in Frankfurt, like a German number. I was like, okay, let's call it.
Yeah.
I called there. And then I waited for like 15, 20 minutes in the line. And at some point, like some German lady picked up, and I was like, and then I put on a whole drama show. But shout out to United because it all worked out in a way.
No one's ever given United a shout out.
yeah, because I was like, and then I explained the situation. I said, like, I went to the airport. I was hoping for my visa to arrive. It didn't arrive. I was on my way back, and basically, it was all like, it's a big mess. I missed the flight. I need to go to Vancouver. My artist is already on the plane. And she was like, okay, I guess let me check what I can do. I was like, wow, okay, let's see. And she didn't mention any fees yet, whatever.
Yeah.
And then she checked, and it's like, yeah, okay, there's no more flights to Vancouver today on a Friday, but there's one tomorrow. And I could probably book you. Let me check. And then another 10 minutes go by. She called back on the line. I was like hoping that my cell phone reception doesn't crash or whatever, you know, like going to the window and stuff. And then she's like, yeah, you know what? I can book you on a flight. It goes from Berlin to Washington to Denver to Vancouver. It's like a full 20-hour trip, whatever, but you'll make it to Vancouver at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. I'm like, okay, better than nothing. And I was like, what's it going to cost? You know what? Let me work it a little bit. I think I can do it so you don't have any rebooking fees. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah, thank you very much. And then she rebooked me. So I was like, okay.
4 flights though?
Yeah, 3 flights.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, okay, the story continues. And then I was like, okay, good. So I'm gonna miss the show of Joplin.
These are like comedian stories about flights.
Yeah. And then basically, I knew I was gonna miss the show for 6 p.m. because she was on stage 6 p.m. But at least I could have seen Bob Moses hang out with the people in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Also, I was talking to Troy, our buddy Troy. He's like, yeah, come by, and at least we get to hang for a couple hours. So I'm like, okay, I got up Saturday, go to the airport. I got my Canadian visa, all that stuff is good. Let's go to Washington and let's go to Vancouver. Then I fly to Washington. I land there. It's like a layover, a couple hours to Denver and then to Vancouver. Of course, I land there. Some stuff happening. the flight to Denver is delayed, and the Denver-Vancouver flight is delayed. Like it already says on the app, and all. I'm like, this is not good. And then I was like, okay, what do I do now? Because I need to get to Vancouver to get on the flight on the Sunday morning to LA. Because it's a whole difference. It's like Berlin, Vancouver, LA, Ibiza, Berlin. That's the whole flight route. And you need to get on that program, otherwise you lose the connection. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to make the show now at this point. That's okay. But I need to get to Vancouver, stay there 4 or 5 hours and fly to LA. And then I was like, let me talk to United again. So I go up to the desk again, another nice lady. And I use all my charm. I'm like, hey, like, hey, this is already my second rebooking. I was, this is all like weird anyways. And I only need to go to Vancouver to really go to LA. There's no point for me to go to Vancouver really. Isn't there an option for me to go straight to LA now? And she's like, not really, because it's a different, there's a different flight and stuff. But let me see what I can do. And then she looks around, blah, blah. Okay, I have a few seats left. You can fly like in an hour now from Washington to LA. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Boom. Yeah. And that also no charge, nothing.
Wow. You're like United's favorite customer.
So basically, and then I flew from Washington to LA.
And now you're here.
Yeah, like I arrived yesterday night. And if you think about it, theoretically, I mean, I had a flight booked and spent all this money, but there was no obligation from United to book me to Vancouver. So I talked my way into a flight to Vancouver. And then I talked my way into a flight from Washington to LA. So basically I just talked my way to LA, technically. But
they also got, usually when you miss your, like if you show up late to the airport.
I know.
And they will rebook you. Or if you miss your flight.
Yeah, no, not if it's...
Not always.
Not always.
It's not that out of...
I know, yeah.
You traded one flight with them for 3.
Exactly.
So they actually win too.
They probably made some money too.
Yeah, they're like, wait, I can get this guy to one place and I can resell three
And also
seats.
the other flights to Washington, to Denver and Vancouver were overbooked.
Right.
So they were probably happy to also check me off there. So I guess it all worked out. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's why I'm here in LA. Wow.
Wait, is Joplin still in Vancouver?
No, she came on Sunday then.
How did you beat her here still?
Yeah, because she had the show on Saturday and she flew on Sunday, and I arrived Saturday night into LA.
I mean, sorry, how did she beat you here?
No, she didn't. She came Sunday morning.
Oh, okay.
And I came Saturday night.
Oh, you've been here since Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
So I came here Saturday night. I was hanging out all Sunday yesterday. So that's why it's, and I'm here now. It's good for just a week now, a quick one.
Hey, you didn't have to go around Vancouver and...
I know, but I joked to Troy about it. It's like, Vancouver, Canada, I guess doesn't like me anymore. Like, I used to be a resident of Canada, and I lived in Vancouver.
That was your hometown for a bit, right?
Yeah, no. So it's like Vancouver doesn't seem to like me or want me. That's why I guess the show went fine. It was she did a good job, and she got to hang with the Bob Moses guys, and also with Hayden James and all these cool live electronic artists. So. And I think it was event put on by Blueprint Promotions and Live Nation Canada.
Yeah.
So it was all a good look, and that's why I wanted to go there to hang out with these people and get to know them and stuff.
I think Canada, as a non-Canadian, they're tough. Because I remember, do you remember when we flew from Berlin to Toronto? They harassed you then. I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, not as tough as the US, I feel. Like, I think the US is still the #1 immigration country where, like, it's really strict and not so easy to enter and to stay and get work permits and all that stuff. I feel like as an American, you can probably easily go to Germany, from what I can tell, and sort of decide to live there and then apply. And if you have some qualification and job and everything, you can get a working visa quite easily compared to like the other way around. Yeah. Because more people, I guess, still want to go and immigrate to the US.
I always hear the stories about Americans going to Canada and how hard it is. Like
really, okay.
Yeah. So I think they're tough on the.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is
because you're a Canadian citizen or no?
No. I was just a resident. I'm a German citizen.
So you're no longer a resident?
No.
So they have you in the file.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem why my file got with ETA, because I had to renounce the residency, blah blah, at some point, and it's like I have I'm not a typical tourist, like a German that goes to Canada.
Right.
So I used to live
You're an
there.
ex-resident.
Ex-resident. I think that's what makes it maybe possibly complicated.
oh
But now I
no.
got the visa for another 5 years. So now I put it in my calendar. Hey, kids, mark my words. Always put importance of your calendar and renew the visas. You know. and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
You're like, what if he's coming to do the Risque reunion album?
Yeah.
Don't let him in. Don't let him in.
Yeah, shout out to Corey and Rita.
Rita, and who's the other one?
Okay.
Nare.
Nare, yeah, sorry, I forgot the name for a sec. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that was way before BTS and all the Asian.
The first Asian pop group.
No, it was. I think there was one in the LA, obviously done already, which sort of was signed.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I had the vision back then, 20 years ago, to do like a Asian girl group with different like singers from different Asian countries, like
Yeah.
Chinese, Japanese.
We will own
Vietnamese,
all the markets.
Didn't work out that well.
You got Burnaby.
Yeah, I got Barnaby there. No, so yeah, so that was my little thing. I think we can do a German English one now, a quick one. So basically, there's a saying. There's just one word. If you're like pretty much, if you come from the countryside and you're a little bit of redneck, you don't know your way around the city and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a German saying. I'll say it. It's called Landei.
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 That's a nice, easy one.
Yeah, exactly. Landei. You pronounce it correctly, right? And if you translate it literally, it would mean like something like country egg.
Country egg.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, I guess you live on a farm, you have
Yeah.
chickens, and you get the eggs there, you know. So you're
Yeah.
not a city boy.
Because they have country bumpkin, right? Yeah. That's
Okay, then I see. I
so
don't know
country
this.
egg. That's gonna be an easy one to catch
Country
on.
bumpkin.
Yeah.
What's a bumpkin?
It's a country egg.
Okay, it's a country egg. It's a Landei.
Landei.
So there you
I
go.
should have used that.
was,
Yeah. Landei.
Yeah, there was a Landei thing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so
What if
excited.
this is long game just to convert? Our podcast is just long game to convert Americans to German.
I guess.
Just like the beginning, they'll do the history of how it all happened, and it happened right here.
And it all like it all started with German English. No. So yeah, that was a German English thing, and it feels good to be back in LA. I have to say, like I feel like the second I arrived in Saturday night, I was like, thank God I'm here.
Yeah.
Weather's good, and
I'm stressed to go to Europe in 2 days
Yeah.
because like I haven't been since 2013.
Really, wow.
Yeah.
Since did we see each other last time you were in Europe?
No, I was only in. I wasn't on the continent.
Yeah,
I was in
okay.
England.
Yeah, you're in England. I remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, crazy. I mean, you're going to France and to Italy, right?
yeah.
And yeah, France. I think the riots are sort of
Over?
over from what I can tell. Like, I don't know technically, and it's also like it's pretty secure from what I can see from the news. But I don't follow French news that much.
No.
And Italy, I mean, I was just, as I said, in Tuscany, Italy. It's a perfect time right now. It's almost a little bit too hot, maybe. And
Yeah.
don't expect too much air conditioning everywhere, you
Right.
know, like as you know. But in Italy and stuff, they're more used
They have
to air
fans.
conditioning. Yeah, they have fans. And
Fans
they have,
work.
And they have air conditioning too. Like,
Yeah.
Depends really. And then I think it's gonna. Do you know your trip already? Like what cities you're gonna hit?
Paris, Florence,
Florence, okay.
and then we're gonna go to Pisa
Pisa, nice. I was
Rome.
just in Pisa.
and
Okay, you're
I
just
think that's
staying.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not going all the way to the south and to the
No.
other side. Okay,
South,
you're just
most
staying-
south is Rome, which is already scheduled to be 100 degrees.
I know there's a little bit of a heat wave thing going on right
Yeah.
now in Europe. But have you been to Rome?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, remind me. I have to send you. Like, I have like for every city in Europe, I pretty much have like a food rest or like a list,
yes.
like a Google
Nice.
list, favorite spots. So I know I tested like 3-4 spaghetti carbonara because
Yeah.
that's a Roman dish, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I have the one best restaurant where it's the
Really?
original way. And then there's like in Rome for some reason, there was like back then there was a Jewish part of town too, and there's like some Jewish, Israeli, Jewish, Italian mixed fusion kitchen, which is amazing.
Wow.
You know? Like, so I think there's a few cool restaurants in the Jewish quarter. And then obviously you should see the Colosseum, but it's a little bit of a tourist thing, obviously. But
We
it's
have a
nice.
reservation for the
Yeah.
Colosseum.
Okay,
like a
good.
tour.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah.
And
because
the
you need a reservation, otherwise, like it's like a nightmare.
Yeah. And then we're going to go to the Vatican.
Yeah, that's cool too. Yeah,
Just because
yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, these are the two main spots. And then there's a few rooftop things. I mean, would have been there's a new Soho house in Rome, which apparently is really good with a rooftop
Oh,
terrace.
wow.
But
Not a member.
Not a member. It's gonna be hard for you to get in. But there's another hotel where you can go up to the rooftop. They have a pool and it's easy accessible. I'll send you some tips and stuff for Rome because I've been there a couple times now. Yeah.
Right.
So
I feel like I'm gonna like it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is a cool city. Like I think Rome for like I hope people from Milan are not gonna get mad. I like Milan too, but it's like Rome is just way
cooler
and happening. I mean, Milan is cool, I guess, during Fashion Week and Design Week and all that stuff, and it's very northern. But it's also like it's interesting. Like Italy, like it's almost like I guess in like Germany too. Like it's almost two different kind. Like if the people from the north and the south are somewhat different, even from the way they look, the way they talk, the way they. And the north is pretty like Milan. The border is sort of Rome, and then it sort of goes south. And the more south you go, I feel the better the food gets, and the more authentic and the more Italian.
Is that every country?
I guess so, yeah, because it's southern hospitality we talked about, and also the people are nicer. It's also technically mostly it's a little bit in Germany it's the other way. Like I didn't know this too. Like in Italy, it's like the south is pretty poor. Like there's no infrastructure, there's no business. Like you can see like also it's more like run down. Like it feels like you're in a different country almost. Like everything's a little dirtier. It's a little poorer. Like in the north, it's all like rich, like and
it's like North American.
Yeah, and it's like it's just like there's more business, there's more infrastructure and everything there. All the big businesses, the brands, everything's up north. In Rome. So you'll see like it's a north and south thing for sure. Like in Europe, in Germany, it's an east and west thing. You'll see the West German cities.
That's where the divide
was. And in Italy, it's definitely north and south. Like,
but these countries are so old. So like, I read this interesting thing about France that like France is like only like they had to like unify. De Gaulle had to go in and be like, all right, we have one French. This is too much. During the war, apparently, like they couldn't understand each other. Like the French was so different. Like that's it. That's why they're so like strict, or like the language has to be this one thing, because it's to make it like a unified country, because it's like an amalgamation of all these different regions.
Yeah, I mean, and
I'm sure it's like that in Germany. Like Germany was Austria, Prussia.
Yeah,
like,
and then in the South
Alsace-Lorraine, which used to be Germany, but French.
And then there's like all these dialects now in Germany.
We've lost every single American audience. We're in geography. Okay, geography. There's not everyone's like boop.
No, yeah, but it's like it's interesting because even in Germany, like there's so many accents where I wouldn't understand them. Like different parts that want to break away from Germany too and stuff. Like Canadians, Montreal and Quebec and so like it's like the same thing everywhere. People trying to break away from the system. I guess.
I watched this old movie going back to Vancouver called Star 80 because it was mentioned on the podcast, Tarantino's podcast, which I love. It's very film oriented and esoteric. But
so he has a podcast?
He has a podcast where he watches old movies from the video store he used to work at.
And then he talks about them, what he likes.
Yeah. Wow, and so he bought the video store's tapes and the shelves and set them up in his house. And then he watches
just like at home, basically.
Yeah, then he takes the tape off the shelf and they watch it. Him and Roger Avery, who was his other co-worker there, and who was co-wrote or co-storied Pulp Fiction, and they watch the tape.
And this is a weekly thing now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they record them weekly, but it would come out weekly.
Okay,
they watch 3 tapes, and they talk all 3.
Wow. Okay.
And then they watch one, Star 80, and it's a story about this girl from Vancouver. Who this guy discovers and says, oh, you're going to be in Playboy, and sends the pictures to Playboy and brings her here. Her name's Dorothy Stratton, and she became kind of big. But the best part about the movie, in my opinion, is they shoot it in Vancouver. So there's old shots of like hotels in Robson Street from 1979, Boundary in 1979. You see Vancouver. It
looks totally different.
It was because, I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so this was a bit before me, but it still reminded me of old Vancouver before all the glass buildings. It was so cool. What's that?
Was the Cecil there?
They do shoot a scene in a strip club, so it could have been there.
Yeah, of course. This was random. Sorry.
But it was like so cool to see that.
Yeah.
I told my friend Aaron Mallon about it. I'm like, you got to watch this. The movie's okay, but like just for the scenes in Vancouver, you got to see it.
Yeah. So, anyways, I got to reconnect with a few of our Vancouver friends that also like, because I thought I was gonna come to Vancouver, spend an extra day there, hang out with my old friends. So I was in contact with Troy, who took care of Joplin, of course, and then I was in contact with Trevor Guthrie, and from the Soul Decision, I was in contact with Russell James. You know, all these guys.
Russell James.
Yeah, Russell James, because he's back in Vancouver and he's still in radio. I don't know the radio station.
LG73 was right.
Yeah, but he's now on some other big radio station. Still a program director and all that stuff. He's big in radio still. Yeah. And then I have this other friend of mine, Ben McCurry, that I did a record with. He's the nephew of Shaka Khan. He also moved to Vancouver. So I had a bunch of people on the guest list that were all going to hang out and have a good time in Vancouver.
Did they still go?
Some of them went. One of them, I don't know. I put them all on the list. I don't know if they actually went or not.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a bummer for me, but I guess
because you can't see the all those meetings.
Yeah, I know. So, but anyways, I'm here now, and there's a show coming up here on this Thursday. Joplin's playing a show here at the Sunset at the Edition. I think it's North Green, somewhere in Hollywood, like a hotel. Like they have a club downstairs, and I think it's a Thursday thing. It's gonna be fun with some cool local promoters and just have a good show, a good fun here in LA, and invite some friends out.
When do you leave?
I leave on Sunday to Ibiza.
Whoa,
straight to Ibiza. Yeah. And then back to Europe, and then I'm coming back to LA.
These are long flights. Like you're doing, because it's 11, 12 hours, Berlin to LA.
Yeah, but there's no direct flight. So if you fly from anywhere in Germany or in Europe to LA directly, it's like 12 hours, roughly.
With a layover?
No, that's the one flight. And then you need another 1 hour, 1.5 hour to Berlin. Like you would fly typically Berlin to Frankfurt or Berlin to...
Why Frankfurt, LA?
Because that's the big problem in Germany. The Berlin airport sucks. And no, it's not Tegel anymore. It's Berlin-Bonn. BER. It's a new airport. But it's like, this is the whole airport drama. Berlin couldn't give the businesses and the big airlines infrastructure enough and to basically run their things through Berlin. So basically, the German hubs are still Munich and Frankfurt. And that's where all the international business goes. That's where the business is. Because Germany, it's not like France, everything goes, or London, everything's centralized. It's not Berlin. Berlin is still like, on the business end, it's still not relevant in a way. Right. That's why all the money is in the south, in Munich and Frankfurt. That's where the business people fly to LA and New York. There's no direct flight from Berlin to LA. Wow. Which is crazy if you think about it. And there used to be, and sometimes I took Air North, and there was one Air Berlin which went bankrupt.
Yeah.
So it's like not meant to be.
I know why Air Berlin went bankrupt. This guy was. I took an Air Berlin flight from. They used to fly all around what's the south of from Nice to Berlin. Last time I saw you in Europe. This guy was piloting the plane like he was doing bombings for the Luftwaffe. He was banking so hard. I was like, what is happening? It was like G-force banking. Like, he was like, I'm like, stop strafing the pedestrians.
So basically, But that's the bummer that you can't fly to LA from Berlin directly. It's always like a 15, 16, 17, 20-hour trip because you have to have a layover. And
I'm dreading this, 12 to Paris.
That's
probably easy.
Yeah, but that's an easy. Like 12 hours, I'm not even phased. Like 9 or 10 hours, I'm not phased anymore. Like,
really?
Like this is so normal for me. I watch a couple movies for sleep and
do some work.
I don't work too much. I should start to work on the plane, but I still haven't, because it's also time to chill and reflect a little bit. Like I guess.
I like to organize my files and be like, clean up the laptop.
Stupid stuff. Yeah,
stupid stuff. To clean up the desktop. Put things into folders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I got to get this pod out tonight, actually.
It's true. Yeah.
This is going to go from I got to
straight to YouTube.
Straight to YouTube.
No
we should
edit.
just be live streaming this.
Exactly. And then
except for all our edits.
What was happening in LA? Like anything happening?
Comedy Bunker was good.
Oh, you had one?
Had one.
Where?
Great crowd. Oh, man, was it hard to move tickets. Like, we had it on July 5th.
Yeah,
which they're like because they canceled my July and August dates because they're like, we do teen tours and it was like for kid shows, and I was like, okay, cool, no problem, I'll take a break. And then they called me and they're like, do you want July 5th? I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then
July 4th is just,
it doesn't register. I'm a Canadian, so I was like,
but you've been in the US quite a while.
Yeah, but it doesn't I don't think about it. July 5th, cool. Wednesday, 8:30. 8:30 is better than 7:30. I'm like, great time, cool, done. And as it approaches, I'm like,
Yeah, because people take a holiday, right?
It's a holiday. You get drunk.
And then on the Wednesday, basically, they party on the 4th, and they're not going to go out.
I tried every trick in the book to get people to come to the show. It was brutal.
Okay.
But we ended up getting 16. No. It was quarter full. But it was a great crowd.
Yeah, okay.
Eddie Mex came.
Okay.
Yeah. And really great lineups, man. We've been really killing it.
And who did you have on the lineup?
We had Irene Tu. We had Zach Noe Towers. We had Willie Simon. Just all like super funny like LA comics that are just like blowing up.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like the last one I saw the Tom Segura special, but only parts of it.
Yeah.
Have you checked it out?
Is it
already?
good?
I think it's pretty good. Like I only saw like the clips so far because I didn't have the full time. And there was one where he basically was removed. Did you hear about this?
No.
The Ted Cruz thing. Because his new neighbor is Ted Cruz, and it's some weird stuff. Like you have to check it out. It's not apparently they blocked it from Netflix immediately. Ted Cruz law, and he's just like, but it's on his YouTube channel so far still, and he's basically it's this weird encounter with his new neighbor
Ted Cruz,
which is now he said it very clear. This might have been or might have not been Ted Cruz, like the technical talk. So he
like your earlier story about someone we can't mention.
Exactly, exactly. So basically, but he gives it away at the end, and it's a crazy story, like because this guy is a little.
This could all. Weird, do you think it's like because we've seen the inner workings of some of these strategies. Mm-hmm. Do you think they had this conversation? Does it feel like, okay, then Netflix, you'll ban it, and then we'll put it on YouTube, and then we'll put it back on Netflix? Because you need noise.
You need noise to have drama. Even with the Ed Sheeran thing, like when the album came out, it coincided with his lawsuit winning and all that stuff. It's like you need even bad press, good press, anything, but you need some sort of scandal nowadays. I mean, look at how many scandals broke a lot of careers if you think about it because of this crazy celebrity culture especially in the States.
Canceling is the new sex tape.
Exactly. Canceling is the new sex tape if you think about it. And so basically who knows, but I mean I think it's but the one thing I saw on the airplane actually I downloaded is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Netflix documentary. Like it's a 3-part thing. It's pretty good.
We talked about this.
But it's I saw the last part now where he became a governor and how he
the governor.
The governor, and it's crazy how this you learn a lot about politics and how this all works because he gives away a lot of inner workings too, but it's still inspiring to see this guy from where he came from and then basically and just killing it, but also that he's very open and he also says like I messed up, then his whole marriage, and then he messed up in front of his kids because he had this affair with his housekeeper, and there's all these human things. He becomes very human at the end, and that's also like I feel everyone loves.
Normally
that story.
He becomes a robot.
Exactly, no, he becomes a robot. There is a robot. I'll be back. But then he's basically he becomes very human, and you almost feel for him, and he's now living alone with his goats or some shit. Like I'm not kidding. Like you see some goats in his house and he feeds them in the morning and it's like he lives
become a real Austrian.
I know he's become an Austrian in Beverly Hills, wherever he lives, and it's kind of it's an old man now, but he still smokes the cigars and it's still like Arnold, and I know I told you a story. I got to meet him, right?
No.
Okay, so 20 years ago or something, I was just like very young, in and out of LA, and then a friend of mine, he was a movie producer, and he produced a movie with his best buddy. It's all over the documentary of Franco Colombo. It's an Italian bodybuilder, too, a shorter guy, but also like a bodybuilding star, and he won a lot of prizes, blah blah. But he said it's his best buddy, like he's known each other from whatever 40 years or something. He passed away apparently a while ago, but then back then he also like wanted to do movies, and he did a movie, like an action movie, and he's like this bodybuilder, blah blah. It's like a low budget movie, but I was through this friend, Canadian guy Eric, I was invited to the premiere, and there was an after party, and of course the guy, everyone's just working with Frank Colombo because everyone knows he's the best buddy of Arnold, and Arnold's gonna support the movie, and this was before social media. It's a big deal. So we went to the movie premiere, and it was fun. And then all of a sudden he's like, okay, like the after party we're gonna do at this restaurant in Venice. It's called Schatzi's, and Schatzi is like Schatzi in German means like
was that his
darling.
restaurant?
Yeah, it was basically Arnold Schwarzenegger's restaurant. And now I know, but back then I already like he probably owned half of Venice back then. It still does, right? He invested all his money in real estate 20 years ago already, before he became a movie star.
Right.
Yeah, and just to support himself and everything. And he was very clever because someone taught him about real estate and stuff. So anyways, so it was at his Schatzi restaurant. We all got there. It was like a back room. He rented out the whole restaurant. And all of a sudden, of course, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we're at I'm in the main table with the movie producer and with Franco Colombo. He walks around, greets everyone. Hey, do you like the schnitzel and stuff? And then he comes to sort of our table. And then I surprise everyone because obviously I look Asian. But then he looks at me. I was like, hi, I'm Arnold. And I talked to him in a southern German Swabian dialect. And he's like, whoa, what's going on? Everyone at the table was like, what's going on? And then I was like, hey, where are you from? I'm from, where? And I did a counter question. I'm like, what car do you drive? Yeah, I drive lots of cars, but I also have a Mercedes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm from Stuttgart. I was like, oh my God. And we talked about Stuttgart and I was there because a friend of mine and also like knew him. And then I was like, you know, this girl. And she's like, oh yeah, of course. And so it was like a whole German moment.
Wow.
In the restaurant, and everyone's like, people like with friends that I'm with still talk about the story because they were so shocked that I talked into like a southern thing, and he was shocked too, and it was a good time, you know.
Yeah.
And then we had this great food, and it was a little after party, and there was no social media, there's no proof, and then Ralf Müller was also there, another German guy, bodybuilder guy, whatever. So it was a whole different world. I was like 18, 19, whatever. Like it was like
I gave him a chance to converse in his mother tongue.
Yeah, exactly, and it was quite surprising for everyone. And that was my crazy. This was the first time I was in LA when this happened. Wow. Yeah, and this was before everything. This was like crazy times ago.
Yeah, these people are attracted to you. They come into your orbit.
Yeah, I guess, and that's why I have a personal. I mean, I met him once. Once in the. But but even if you just met someone once and had a quick conversation, you have a different connection with the person. Then you see the documentary different. And I read his book too, and I mean, Arnold is just a phenomenon for Europeans, for Germans, for Austrians to sort of go all the way from where he's from to the very top, you know, like, so gotta give it up to that. Hustler. And it's also the American dream, which is always fascinating. For
I mean, he even like is so proud to be an American, it feels.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He even says in like he's born in Austria, but he's really an American. Like he doesn't want to be associated with like that's his roots and everything, and he's okay with that. But it's really where he became a man and a real person is American. That's what made him, you know. Like
so in at Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, Warren Buffett's annual meeting, he's friends with Warren Buffett.
Of course he is.
And every the one thing you can't get if you watch the stream online is they play a video where like Arnold, like Tom Brady, like you name the biggest celebrities they do like sketch comedy.
No.
Yeah.
For Warren Buffett.
With Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett's in it, and there's like a Breaking Bad sketch. There's like an Apple sketch.
There's basically like a team that does these movies and thinks about them every year and then sort of records them. There's a whole effort. There's a production.
There's a production. And so, but the deal is they're not allowed to share or no one can film this. You'll get kicked out if you put up your phone. And Arnold's always in them. There's like big ones with Arnold.
Of course. Yeah. And they're probably super funny.
Yeah, the whole thing is hilarious.
And so you basically have to be at the meeting to see it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one way for them to get you to the meeting. Anyway.
I mean, I don't think they care, but it's just like a nice little perk. I think they basically get all these huge like collaborations with Hollywood. Yeah. Like there's a Desperate Housewives episode, and
it's the same look probably and everything. Like it's a real producer.
Yeah, this is real. I mean, we're talking rich people here. This is real high budget.
There's a budget for
it. And Arnold's a big presence there.
Wow.
I mean, I met Bill Gates at the meeting.
Wow, there you go. Yeah.
He was just at the bar, like looking around, and I was like, "Hi." And he had the security guard.
You basically you rocked up and just said hi.
No, he just kind of like walked up to the bar.
Yeah. And you're like there by the bar, and you're like, hey, hi.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all, in essence, everyone's just a person. They're all humans. Everyone just, I mean, there's this old saying, just if you meet someone's, they're all just normal person, and just imagine them sitting on a toilet. They also have to shit, you know? Like, that's basically the...
Yeah, when you think you're too big, they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
It is weird that we I think because we're always trying to project ourselves into who we want to be onto these people, and so we kind of forget that they're fallible as well, and they're just people.
They're just people.
There's circumstance and luck and hard work and all those things.
Yeah,
but I think luck plays a lot of it too.
Yeah,
you know,
timing
like
and
timing.
Luck.
Yeah,
for sure.
Things work out. You know, like
the ancient Asian art of timing.
You just can't. There's your canceled moment.
I know, yeah, but I can do it. I'm Asian. Come on.
I guess you can. Yeah, is that a thing? Yeah, it is hard to like really like. It's some. I heard so many great quotes this week. One was like,
great quotes should be a good segment too.
Yeah. Great quotes. Yeah. I like that segment. Yeah. Write that down.
Yeah, okay. I'm writing it down right now.
The quote was, one of the biggest mistakes you make in life is thinking you have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. Because it's like, I'll get to that. I'll do that later.
Yeah, but it's like the same thing. Here's a great quote that I liked. Happiness is not a future event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
a good one too.
That's a good one too, because it's all about being present and living in the moment, and also like not saying, yeah, I'll do this later, then later on I'm gonna be happy and this and that, like it's not a future thing. Like you gotta enjoy it in the moment. You never know when it ends, literally. Okay?
Yeah,
it could end this goes, I mean, that's what they say, the biggest motivator is like this, the Gary V thing, right? The 3 words, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
that should be your motivation, right?
I downloaded at one point. There was like a death clock. Like, you remember when widgets were a thing for Apple?
Yeah.
It was before iPhone. You could have widgets on your home screen. It was like a death clock of like, you put in your age and they'll be like, all right, this is how many. It would just count down how many hours and days how much you have left.
Technically, like if you think project, and there's a thing, it's called it's memento mori. It's a story, Stoics, right? So basically, there's a chart also which you can buy. Like it gives you like 80 years, like normal average lifespan, and it breaks it down every year in weeks, like 52 weeks. Yeah, and then basically every week you sort of scratch one off, and then if you do it, you see already, like if you're like 45 or whatever, you're past your mid already. Like you realize, okay, this is like in the last 10 years are probably not going to be that active when you're sick.
Right.
So it's like you break it down, you're like, okay, I don't have that much time left,
right.
And then it makes you focus and think about things differently. It's
and get rid of the things that are not important and not stress.
So I downloaded it, I put it up. It's on my studio wall, but it's like the app, like the death clock, I guess. But it's more high tech on the app or whatever.
Yeah, you have a low tech death watch.
Yeah, basically, I have a like where you have to per hand basically. But I mean, I'm gonna Google the death watch now and see it, because I mean, as morbid as it sounds, it's the reality for all of us. And I see it as a motivator too, because it's like you basically focus on the things that matter and don't matter.
Yeah.
It's like
I think when stress creeps in, it's a good thing to remind yourself.
Just to focus on the things that are important. Yeah.
Another great quote, since we're starting this segment, I'll double up today. Was this was again from the Video Archives podcast. It was advice that was given to Roger Avery. He said, I think it was from the guy who created that show Cops.
Yeah.
And he's like, in Hollywood, don't try to work your way up. Start at the top. So it's like, if you, it's like, I want to be a director, just be a director.
Exactly.
Don't think you can like, it's like, it doesn't work. You can't like, especially in directing, because an assistant director has nothing to do with the director. An assistant director is like a coordinator, has nothing to do with the camera. And I think that's true. It's like, if you want to be a producer, don't be an engineer, be a producer. If you want to be an artist, just be the artist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just be it. And even if you don't have the skill set, but your mindset has to be like, I'm that, and then basically reverse engineer it almost. That's
just do the thing you want to do right away.
Yeah, and even if you do it on a lower level, but that's the thing. Like, it's hard to be like a cable guy first, then a grip, and then work your way all the way up to.
No, because you'll just become a cable guy.
Exactly. You're just gonna be the top head of grip at some point, but you're not.
Yeah, then it'll be too late. You'll have bills and stuff, and I think that's a trap we all fall into.
That's
it's
true.
Like, it's like you start doing all these other things.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know what they want to be immediately. I was lucky and happy and grateful, because I was like, I knew at 15 I want to be a music producer, because I read the name Teddy Riley everywhere.
It was Teddy Riley for me too.
Yeah, and then I was like, whatever this guy does,
Timbaland, Teddy Riley.
I was like, whatever this guy does, I want to do that, because that sounds cool, and I think that's I can do this, So I never, for me, like, there was no school back then to become a music producer. You couldn't even study it. So you either are or you aren't, and you got to make records.
You pick up little bits of information.
Yeah, exactly.
Now there's almost like, I feel like the internet is ruining things, because you can spend a lot of time researching the thing you want to be instead of doing it.
And then you're like, this is too much work. It's too tough. And you don't
Or you learn too much, then you just become like someone who's studying it. You know?
Exactly.
It's like, because we were like, all right, there's this tiny bit of information
Yeah.
about sampling and then that's it. And the rest you just like, I got to figure it out. Yeah. And so I think now there's too much information.
Yeah, that's true, because then you spend more time studying and learning the theory of it instead of doing it. You know?
And I get caught doing that a lot too.
Yeah,
I start researching something and then I go on like a super deep dive into it and I'm like, I could have just been working.
I know, and you could have been, then you basically don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think like those two things I'm trying to get remotivated, and hopefully this vacation will be like a motivating thing. But like to focus on the thing you want to do that, and also know you have limited time and not stress.
And you're bringing books with you. I always think like sometimes it depends if you have kids and stuff. It's hard to read.
Books I'll probably read on the plane. I have some books.
And if you do like a beach vacation, like there's enough time to sort of hang out by the beach and read books. But
today I'm quoting from other podcasts, but one of my podcasts I listen to is Spike Ferriston's car podcast, Spike's Car Radio. Yeah. And he said a great quote that I totally agree with, which was, the beach is overrated.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
he's like, the beach is the biggest scam going.
Of course, because it's like the thing is also, if you live in California, like why? And the thing is, if your son starved, like in a northern European country, and there's only rain and London, of course or Germans, they want to go to California and be by the beach. That's the dream.
Yeah.
But if you're like in a country or city where there's more sun and there's a beach anyways, like you don't need to go to a beach. You know, like you can be by a beach and look at a beach. I think it's calming for me. But you don't need to get on a towel, lie on the beach to get the skin cancer. And
it's just all bad things. Skin cancer, hot, sandy.
No, but I like to be on a rooftop on the Soho House.
I like looking at the ocean.
Exactly, yeah. Looking at the ocean is good.
Yeah, but like, you know me, we go to the restaurant in the sun. It's like you're in the sun, I'm in the shade. Like that's our whole energy here.
Yeah, because I still like the sun, but I think if I live here, like I'm gonna at some point try to avoid the sun.
Yeah, I mean, I have this route that I go to Starbucks in the morning, and it's like I know exactly the shady spots in the building to make it there.
It's stupid. But my name is Suntan, so I need a tan.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
When you met this very famous billionaire that we cannot name, what did you say your name was?
Tan.
Tan?
Yeah. To every American, yesterday I went to a studio. I also met some people, like songwriters. They did like, the one guy, he did like music for like also like Cash Money, but I also did some for the Wonder Years, some like TV shows. Big, nice producer, beautiful studio in Beverly Glen or whatever. And and also introduced myself as Tan. Yeah. And then I said like, and then people were double checking what is it? And I said like, like suntan. Okay, cool. You know, it was a thing. Yeah, so it worked.
I think now that you told this billionaire it's Tan, we can't change it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you can't meet him again and be like,
I'm Tom.
I'm Chi.
I'm Chi. No, I'm Tan. It's done.
Yeah, it's done. All right. No changing it. T-A-N.
No changing it. Yeah.
I think we should change. Now we got to change my name to something more easy.
Lat.
Lat.
Teef. No, Teef. I call you Teef.
Teef and Tan.
Teef and Tan. It's a new name of the next podcast. Teef and Tan.
We should just change the name to that. That's pretty good.
But Teef, like the thing is, like an American would, like if they hear the word Teef, you would go T-E-E-F, right? Like reef. Yeah, so it wouldn't be T-I-F.
No, but I'd be fine with that. Yeah, T-E-F and T-A-N.
Yeah, okay, so it's basically simplify American.
Because if I do T-I-F, then it's Tiff and Tan.
Yeah, then it's like Tiffany or Teef.
Tiff and Tan.
But Tiffany, like Tiff, but it's not Teef. Yeah, then it's Tiff.
Teef and Tan.
Yeah. Like it's T-I-F would be Tiff.
Yeah, Teef and Tan.
Yeah, Teef and Tan, yeah.
Because like, what if, are we turning people away who don't like techno?
No, I don't know.
We don't know our demo.
We don't know the demo yet. We're still trying to figure it all out. You know? And it's. I think it's all about, like we talked about it. Like it's yin and yang. It's Berlin and LA. It's techno. It's comedy. It's music business.
Yeah.
It's life quotes.
But it's really about
journey.
us, right?
Yeah, of course. It's we're trying to figure it out. Everyone's trying to figure it out at some point. And I think, and it's a journey. And for me, especially now, it's a journey between different continents and different lifestyles in a way, almost. You know, so everyone's just like
journey to LA.
Yeah.
It's going to be called Hollywood in Hollywood now because you're not.
No, because it's still techno. I still do techno music.
Yeah.
I'm still involved in techno business in a way. So, and techno could be also technology. It doesn't have to be like techno music only.
The Tech Hall podcast.
Exactly.
I like it. Should we wrap it up?
See you guys later.
Welcome back. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, follow us.
Follow
Techno Hollywood
us.
Pod. Latif Tayor Tan. And
Cheetan Berlin.
tell us if you like the new name. And
Teef and Tan.
Teef and Tan.
Larry and Tom.
Teef and Tan is good.
Teef and Tan is good.
Techno.
Catchy. All right, later.
All right.